We really couldn't have got off to a much better start here in Season 3 of our realistic Crystal Palace career mode. After coming from 2-0 down to absolutely demolish Manchester United at Old Trafford, we find ourselves in unfamiliar territory, currently occupying a European place in the Premier League. And with a matchup against 4th place Arsenal to get to today, our primary objective is going to be to solidify ourselves in that position. That will be our featured game of today's episode. We'll be quick simming our 2 home games in the Premier League against Fulham and against West Ham. And I'll also be showing you highlights of our 4th round Carabao Cup fixture against Leeds, as well as our opener here today against Ipswich. I was unsure how best to approach the Ipswich game. They're going to be setting up in a 4-2-3-1 formation, and we're going to attempt to combat that with a 4-3-3. We're looking to move away from the 5-2-3 counter-attacking tactics that we've been utilizing up to this point and start to take a little bit more control of possession in games, but we're still trying to find the best possible way of achieving that. And although we started the game the brighter, it was actually Ipswich Town who took the lead. How they managed to squeeze this into the back of the net from such a narrow angle, though, I have no idea. But I'm equally unsure how Tammy Abraham managed to squeeze this in at the near post 10 minutes later as well. But what I do know is that Tammy Abraham is an absolute revelation. He simply cannot stop scoring. Even when he's looking to pass, nobody is in support and he has to turn and shoot and bury it anyway. And Ipswich fought to get back into the game in the second half, but this rash challenge from Axel Twansby saw them go down to 10 men late, and that allowed us to see out the remaining couple of minutes, and it allowed Eddie Nketiah to put the icing on the cake with a late goal. So with that performance, Tammy Abraham takes his total tally of goals for the season up to 10 goals in 7 appearances, and he is of course top of the goal scoring charts in the Premier League. But not to be outdone, Luca Koleosho is having an excellent season as well, and he leads assists in the Premier League with 5 in 7 games. Today's video is sponsored by Enigma Football, the UK's leading supplier of football shirt mystery boxes just like this one. Enigma stock a wide range of football shirts from clubs from the Big 5 European leagues, from lesser known teams around the world, and even from national teams as well. And you can be 100% certain that their shirts are authentic because they get them straight from the clubs and the manufacturers directly. Their mystery boxes start at just $34.99, and they can be as random or as customized as you like. Of course, you need to specify your shirt size, but you can also let Enigma know if there are any teams or leagues you would like to avoid, if there are any colors or designs that you would prefer, or you can just leave it entirely up to Enigma to choose for you. Enigma had a very good idea of what team I would like to receive, so they sent me this season's Crystal Palace shirt. This exact shirt on the Crystal Palace website would have cost me £60. But if you receive it in a mystery box, you get it almost half that price. And you can knock that price down even further by using code LAMSY at the checkout for a 10% discount on all first orders, including the first month of a mystery box subscription package. So if you're on the lookout for a Christmas gift for the diehard football fan in your life, or if you just want a fun and affordable way to expand your own shirt collection, check out Enigma Football. The link is in the description, and be sure to use code LAMSY at the checkout for 10% off your first order. Shout out to Enigma Football for sponsoring. Now let's get back to the video. So both Abraham and Koleosho lead the line once more as we host Fulham at Selhurst Park for our second game of the episode. And we only come away with a draw in this one. Not the worst result, but we were looking to put another 3 points on the board for sure. Daichi Kamada opens the scoring, but it takes only 5 minutes for Reed to equalise for Fulham. Which brings us to our third and featured game of the episode against Arsenal, who have added a number of interesting players to their squad over the course of the last couple of transfer windows. Kingsley Coman being one, Marcus Edwards, Paulo Dybala being another, adding a lot of attacking midfielders to their ranks. They also have Diogo Jota, Rafael Leal. They have, of course, Mikel Moreno, but Mohamed Simakan at the back, Tchouameni in midfield too. Frankie de Jong was a transfer that we saw earlier this summer. A couple of Youth Academy products in there as well, so it'll be really interesting to see how Arsenal line up. So without further ado, let's head over to the Emirates and see if we can beat one of the Premier League's biggest clubs for the second consecutive episode.
Good luck. Good game. Hey. Good game.
Thank you, Emirates Stadium. Enjoy the game.
So a couple of surprises in the Arsenal lineup. Namely, the two Youth Academy prospects at the back, De Jong and Neil, I believe their names are. However, one is a 79 overall and one is an 86 overall already. So, whilst it may look as though there are some stronger options on the bench, I don't think Arsenal are really going to be weakened at all at the back, playing those two particular Youth Academy prospects, or products at the very least. And Arsenal's front six just looks incredible. Moreno, Ødegaard, Tchouaméni is their midfield three, which is just disgusting. Constantelius wins the ball back, takes a tumble after, but bursts past Ødegaard. And this is Neil, the 86 rated right back. But Constantelius has left him in the dust. So Tchouaméni, Moreno, Ødegaard the midfield, Saka, Jota, and Leao the front three. Just an absolutely ridiculous six. Constantelius once more. Bright start to the game from him. Lofts it into the Arsenal box, but can't find Koleosho at the back post. And here we're going to be exposed. Look at that defending from Trevor Chalobah, though. The pace of Leao would have caused an issue, but Chalobah, rather. And what a ball that is from Dean Henderson. Back and forth game to start. And it falls for Tammy Abraham, who hits it straight at Kepa. That is potentially the biggest surprise in the Arsenal lineup. Kepa starting ahead of David Raya, who finds a place on the bench. And there is that pace of Rafael Leao. Didn't manage to beat Trevor Chalobah moments ago, but does manage to beat Daniel Munoz. And Saka goes down in the box and stays down. Really end-to-end game in these opening 10 minutes or so. And if that continues, I'm not sure who it favours. Koleosho is onside, lofts it in towards Tammy Abraham, who can't win the header, and Kamada can't find Koleosho with the second ball. Be interesting to see whether Bukayo Saka is nursing an injury now. It did seem as though he stayed down, and there's the pace of Rafael Leao again. Sneaking past Daniel Munoz, who does well to get back into a good defensive position and make the block. Stopping the cross. We don't manage to clear our lines, though. And parried away by Dean Henderson at the near post. After a shot from Diogo Jota. Frantic opening 12 minutes of the game. Saka does stay on the pitch, though. He is clutching his shoulder. Does receive the corner short. Kamada there to make the intervention. But just out for another Arsenal corner. Again, they go short to the injured Saka. Ødegaard. Kamada once more doing some good defensive work and breaking away down this right-hand side. Tries to just drop it into the channel for Koleosho to chase, but Chalobah deals with it excellently. So we have gone with a 4-3-3 today. It served us very, very well against Ipswich. And decently enough in the quick sim against Fulham. And I do think if we are looking to control possession a little bit more and impose ourselves on games a little bit more this season, I think this 4-3-3 probably is the best option. A 4-2-3-1 suits us on paper, the personnel that we have in the squad, but it doesn't seem to be quite as effective in practice. And I'm already looking ahead to January as Leif Davis tries to get in behind. Neil does well to deal with it though. I'm already looking ahead to January and thinking about what we can do to really accentuate this 4-3-3 formation and utilize it to the best of our abilities. Great challenge, Leif Davis. So I checked our objective, our failed Premier League objective from last year, and that prevented us from spending more than 10 million on any individual player in the summer. However, it was just for the one transfer window rather than for the entire season. That's a poor pass. Koleosho inviting pressure, but it's another really good challenge from Trevor Chalobah. And we could hit Koleosho on the far side here, looking to exploit these kinds of direct passages of play a little less often in these kind of formations, but they will still be there every now and again. Nicely worked from Arsenal though, and Neil picks the pocket of Leif Davis after a successful challenge initially, and Lacroix just absolutely lumps it out of play for another Arsenal corner, which Leao is going to take. Will he go short to Saka once again? Yes, he will. Leao. Good challenge in the box from Leif Davis, who finds the feet of Constantelius. Adam Wharton. Koleosho in space on the far side once again, and just tries to tap it inside to Kamada, but Kamada's gone into traffic rather than picking up that little pocket of space as Koleosho was anticipating that he would. Leao pretty much had Daniel Munoz on toast the entire game so far. Cannot be said for Trevor Chalobah though. Maybe we need to switch him out to right back. That's a rash challenge from Leao, and we could catch a break here because Leao has been really dangerous for Arsenal, but he's put in a really dangerous challenge, and that's exactly how the referee sees it, and he shows the red card as a result. We saw a red card against Ipswich Town, justified, and I would say that's justified too. It's a lunging challenge from behind, catching Adam Wharton down the calf, and Arsenal declined to make a change, so for now they will be without a left winger. And we have a real opportunity not just to hold on to this draw that we began the game with, but to potentially go on and win this game now. We put in a decent performance against Tottenham Hotspur early in the season. Couldn't quite manage to come away with the result. Put in an excellent performance against Manchester United in the second half at the very least. And we did manage to come away with a 5-2 victory. So facing down another top 4, top 6 kind of side, we have the chance to take 6 from those available 9 points. Koleosho in behind, exploiting the fact that Arsenal are a little weaker on that side now. Tammy Abraham brings it down, finds Koleosho, space for Kamada, blocked by the Arsenal defender. And are we offside? I guess this has to be offside. But as I was saying, a good, 10, 15 in-game minutes ago now, I am looking ahead to January and thinking about how we can really utilise this 4-3-3 formation to the best of our ability. Eddie Nketiah, though he scored against Ipswich, really has been an absolute flop since joining for 30 million from Arsenal. And I think we can probably afford to move on from him in January if he doesn't give us a real reason not to between now and then. Lucas Stassin should be back around that time. We did, of course, sign Emmanuel Dennis as well. And Tammy Abraham just is the first name on the team sheet at the moment, obviously. So I think we could certainly afford to get, maybe we can get 15 million back for Eddie Nketiah. And I think we sign a CDM. Koleosho. Is he onside? Yes, he is. Tammy Abraham couldn't find him. Potentially Koleosho should have taken the shot at himself. Looking to add another assist to his tally rather than a goal. Not quite enough on that one from Constantelius. So, yeah, I think potentially we let Eddie Nketiah go and we look to bring in a true CDM. In this current formation, we have Adam Wharton playing CDM. And although in terms of his attributes, he is going to be fairly well suited to that particular role. Jota, big save, Dean Henderson. He does have a ++ at centre midfield, box to box. That's ideally where we want him, on the left side of that trio, with Daichi Kamada on the right. And we could use a true CDM to play just behind them. So I think that's potentially... Good save again, Dean Henderson. Heart in my mouth for a moment there, as I was struggling to get across with Trevor Chalobah to get the block in. Fortunately, we didn't need to. And Dean Henderson was there to make the save again. Saka still nursing that injury. Arsenal still refusing to bring him off, even though they've gone down to 10 men. It would make so much sense for Arsenal to bring Saka off. Another big save. It makes so much sense for Arsenal to bring Saka off and to kind of adjust their formation, but they're just simply refusing to do so. That's a really heavy touch from Munoz, and we're failing to take advantage of the fact that Arsenal are down to 10 at the moment. A little bit sloppy in possession. I think we need to slow things down just a little. I think we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves and just trying to rush the ball forward and being wasteful in possession as a result. So, as I was saying, I think a CDM would be the best position to target in January. The one position where we really could use a kind of true starting 11 player. We do have William Davidson still. We do have Will Hughes still. But I think we could use a real difference maker at the position. So, get any suggestions in the comments below. A CDM probably somewhere around the 80 overall range. Could be young, could be experienced. Obviously, we're not looking to pay a huge price. Probably somewhere in the 20 to 25 million-ish range. Considering we sold Czech Decore for 25, we can probably get about 15 for Eddie Nketiah. That takes us to 40, and we've spent 28 already on the 4 signings we made in the summer. So we're looking at about 20 to 25 million for about an 80 overall CDM. So any suggestions in the comments below, please. But we are back out for the second half at the Emirates. It's been a game of precious few chances. We have only had 2 shots on goal in that first half. That needs to change here in the second. We have to find a way to exploit this disadvantage that Arsenal have handed themselves and look to break them open here in the second period. Koleosho trying to play advantage. The referee not allowing it in the end. And Munoz will put the ball into the box, where Abraham is there. Constantelius is there. Kepa eventually is there. The Arsenal defender allowing it to bounce. I think not once, but twice. Around the 6-yard box. And that looked dangerous for a moment. Diogo Jota manages to find a bit of space out on the left-hand side. But we do eventually win the ball back. I have made a couple of changes to the sliders as well. There will be a video out, if not on the channel already, then shortly. Have a check on the channel. Tammy Abraham blocked. Have a check on the channel because it may well be up already. I anticipate it likely won't be though, but it will be up shortly if it's not already. All depends when you see this, of course. But title update 6 has recently dropped. However, it hasn't necessitated huge changes to the slider set once again. Just some minor tweaks for the most part. And that has been the case really on FC24 and now into FC25. The gameplay is just so much more stable than it used to be on the old FIFAs. Kamada through the middle. Tammy Abraham finds them. Could this be our chance? No. We kind of drifted into the feet of the Arsenal defender. Kamada with the second chance and it hits the bar. Took a deflection, I think, off an Arsenal man in the 6-yard box. And I think parried onto the bar by Kepa in the end. Really, really good opportunity. First to get the shot away with Kamada, but once we failed to do so, to follow it up, Constantelius is going to try from range. Not enough power on the strike. So close to taking the lead here at the Emirates. Kamada can't win it back. As I was saying, the gameplay is just so much more stable on FC than it ever was on FIFA. On FIFA, every time there was any kind of an update, no matter how minor, no matter how little it seemed based on the patch notes to affect the gameplay, it would just absolutely wreck your slider set without fail. Tammy Abraham. But that's not been the case on FC24 and FC25. And even when EA dropped the title updates that do have kind of significant gameplay consequences, it doesn't change the gameplay anywhere near as much as it used to. So the slider set has been staying pretty stable as a result, and we've just been making tweaks here and there. As Jota comes off, I think we'll probably make a change or two relatively soon here as well. Joe Bellingham has been pretty much non-existent, so I think he's the most likely candidate to leave the field. Constantelius has struggled a little down that left-hand side as well. The 86 overall Arsenal defender having a big impact. And it does look like Saka has run off that injury now. However, Leif Davis still manages to skip away from him and set Constantelius on his way, who beats William Saliba not once but twice, and the referee says he's got the ball. How is that not a foul? A perfectly timed challenge, I guess. To me, it looked like a foul. It looked like Saliba took Constantelius' feet out from underneath him without taking the ball first. But the referee disagrees. Saka. Back to Erdegaard. The overlapping run of Neil once more, and he's beaten Leif Davis. Maxence Lacroix has to come across. Thankfully, there's nobody in the box for Arsenal. But it does go out for yet another Arsenal corner, and they will make yet another change. Miguel Merino to leave the field, and the new signing Frankie de Jong to come on. And we might be defending a corner, but we're going to make two changes of our own. Constantelius and Joe Bellingham, the two to leave the field. William Davidson to come on, so he's going to drop into that CDM role. Adam Wharton is going to push up to centre midfield alongside Kamada. And the other change, didn't really see it there, as the Arsenal shot goes narrowly wide. Not sure why Oliver Glasner is talking to Constantelius. Maybe telling him what he did wrong, because you can't come back on. But the other change, I don't think we really saw it there, but it is Adeyemi Akpan, the young youth academy product, coming on the right-hand side and immediately testing and beating Zinchenko and immediately playing the pass behind Tammy Abraham. Making his debut for Crystal Palace today. He's the first youth academy product that we have signed to be making his debut for the club in the series. Only a 65 overall, but showed a lot of promise in the youth tournament that really brought him to Holly Glasner's attention. And he has a chance to make an impact here in Season 3. A big ask for him to make his debut against Arsenal. Thrown him in at the deep end for sure. But he's got nothing to lose, really. He can go out and play free because we do have the man advantage. And of course, Arsenal are such a high-rated opposition that he's not really expected to do anything in this particular game. So if he doesn't, he hasn't really let anybody down. But if he does, then it's going to be Bonus. Headed clear by Arsenal. William Davidson there. Can't quite win it. Only about 20 minutes left to go in the game, stoppage time included. And aside from that chance that hit the crossbar, we are really yet to create anything too significant in the game. Leif Davis beats his man. Koleosho cuts inside, beats Ødegaard, quick burst of pace. And I thought that was going to be tucked right in at the far post, but a huge save from Kepa keeps things level. Excellent play from Koleosho. So dangerous cutting in off that left-hand side. And to be fair, I think in this particular system, in the 4-3-3, I think we put Koleosho on the left-hand side. It's not really something I've considered up until that precise moment. But I think in the 5-2-3, Koleosho gets a shot away once again, but blocked immediately. In the 5-2-3, where we are looking to play with kind of true wingers, keep those players wide, it makes a lot of sense for Koleosho to be on the right. But when we're playing 4-3-3 and we're expecting those wingers to cut in a little more often, I think playing Koleosho on the left makes a lot more sense. So I think we'll be doing that going forward. So 15 minutes-ish left to play. Bit of a quiet one from Tammy Abraham today, so maybe we bring Eddie Nketiah on for the final 10 minutes or so and continue to give him kind of one final opportunity to prove himself between now and January, because his time is running out in a Crystal Palace shirt. Is, of course, an opportunity to play against his former club as well, which is usually an extra bit of added motivation. How is he still going? How is he still going? Lacroix eventually puts the foot in. I don't even know who that was. Was it Ødegaard? I don't think it was Ødegaard. I think it was... I've no clue who that was, but he just almost walked through our entire defence there, despite Chalobah and Maxence Lacroix being well positioned. And it's a lucky bounce, and Saka has broken away this time. Gets the shot away, but Dean Henderson equal to it. Two instances there. Huge amount of fortune for Arsenal, and that's another heavy touch from Daniel Munoz. Headed clear by Wharton, only as far as Frankie de Jong, who was the player that almost walked through our entire defence there. Another big save from Dean Henderson. Munoz manages to clear this time, and Akpan finds Kamada, who finds the linesman. So Arsenal making a final change. Chouameni needs to come off, Simakan to come on. So they do finally make that defensive change to account for the man disadvantage, but they do it with 5 minutes remaining in the game. Abraham and Kamada, the players to leave the field for us. Eddie Nketiah and Andres Pereira, the two to come on to replace them. I think despite the fact that we've had a man advantage for such a long period of time, I think we would have to be happy with a draw if we do manage to see this game out. I think going to Arsenal, coming away from the Emirates with a point, I think has to be considered a good result, almost independent of the circumstances. Arsenal could probably go down to 9 men, and I would still say, yeah, a point, fair enough, we'll take it. Simakan playing in midfield by the looks of it for Arsenal in these closing stages, who certainly seem content with a point. Just passing the ball around in midfield. Ødegaard does eventually send the ball forward. Davis finds Koleosho. 3 minutes of added time. Koleosho cuts inside once more. And it's another rash challenge from Saliba. This time the referee does agree that it's a free kick. Not expecting a card on this occasion, but it is going to be a yellow, which is probably a little bit harsh. Let's look at it again. Maybe not. It's a yellow, isn't it? Oliver Glasner wants a red, though. We saw a red earlier that we maybe shouldn't have. was right on the borderline, I think, between a yellow and a red, that one we saw earlier. William Davidson in the box. Tammy Abraham, of course, not in the box. But Leif Davis will deliver into a dangerous area. Pereira hits the side netting. Came out of nowhere. And the ball dropped right onto his toe. And he absolutely lashed at it. Hits only the side netting. But another opportunity to steal the win here at the Emirates. Great run, Eddie Nketiah. Akpan puts it on a plate. Penalty, ref. Offside, ref. I'll be interested to know if that would have been a foul if he wasn't offside. And he's offside by his arm. You can't play it with your arm. You can't play the ball with your arm. You're not offside. I mean, his knee was offside as well, but we're going to ignore that just so we can complain. And the referee's final whistle goes. And boos ring around the Emirates. Not entirely sure why. Potentially directed at the referee rather than at the players, because I thought Arsenal were decent, considering they played a man down for such a large portion of the game. I thought we played decent as well. Not as clinical or as threatening in the final third as I would have liked, for sure. But as we said, we've gone to the Emirates. We've come away with a point. I don't think we can be too disappointed with that at all. And a big downfall towards the end of last season was that we were doing really well in the cup competitions, but our Premier League form dropped away. Not so much the case this year. Excellent form in the Premier League, and we are on the brink of making the quarterfinals already in the Carabao Cup. A matchup against Leeds, all that stands between us and the final 8. And there could be a number of more than favourable fixtures if we do manage to make it through to the next round. Stoke have progressed on penalties over Burnley. Swansea City have made it over Brighton as well. Liverpool beat Man City, but Wolves are still in the competition. Birmingham and Chesterfield play each other, so one of those two teams is guaranteed to make it. So we have rotated the 11 for this one, but Koleosho and Tammy Abraham start again. It's Raksaki that joins them on the right-hand side today, though. Andreas Pereira comes into the midfield, and we have Roscoe Torres, Chris Richards, and Milan Van Eyck all starting across the back four. And this was a very close game. Both teams having chances at either end. This probably the best of them, and it fell to Tammy Abraham. Big save from Carl Darlow, though. But as we did against Arsenal, we got a little bit of fortune in this one when Ethan Ampadu brought Tammy Abraham down in the box. That saw Ethan Ampadu shown a yellow card, and it meant Tammy Abraham put the ball on the spot and absolutely buried the penalty. Leeds pretty much dominated the second half, and it looked as though they might level the scoring in the 89th minute. But Dan James thankfully put his shot over the bar. So we do manage to make it through to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup for a second consecutive year. We went one better making the semi-finals last season. Hopefully we can do that and more this season. It's going to be tough to make it through to the semi-finals this time around, though, as we are drawn against Chelsea, who it feels like really should be a rival of Crystal Palace. As far as I'm aware, they're not, but it really feels like they should be. Birmingham City make it through as well, but they are drawn against Liverpool, Stoke City versus Manchester United, and Swansea City versus Spurs. So it's all of the big clubs against all of the small clubs, unfortunately. Which brings us to our fifth and final game of the episode as we host West Ham at Selhurst Park. A number of starting 11 players come back into the side for this one. Trevor Chalobah included, but Chris Richards does maintain his place at centre-back. William Davidson starts for this one, and Luca Koleosho does start on the left-hand side with Konstantelius on the right, and it's an absolute romp. Konstantelius grabs 2 goals from right wing. Tammy Abraham grabs yet another goal as well, as we see off West Ham with a comfortable 3-0 victory. So an absolutely unreal month of football, yet somehow we drop a place in the Premier League. We drop from 5th to 6th. Arsenal, who we drew with, go from 4th up to 2nd. How does that work? And it's that draw against Fulham that's led to us dropping from 5th to 6th. An unbeaten month otherwise, but those 2 points that we dropped really have been influential here towards the end of 2026. We'll round out 2026 in a couple of episodes' time with an absolutely monumental month. 7 games, including 2 fixtures against Chelsea, one of which is to progress to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. We've got a slightly quieter month before then, though, and a really good opportunity to put more points on the board as we take on Bournemouth and Wolves. Should be 6 points right there, and then we'll just see what we can do against Manchester City at the Etihad. So it kind of just feels like we're waiting for everything to fall apart at the moment, as it has done in previous seasons, but not here in Season 3. We are managing to hold it together for now at the very least, and hopefully we continue to do so into the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.